Yo, what's up guys, it's FullySpaced, and today I'm going to be showing you 5 different kind of custom farmland designs you can use in your either survival world or just like a building project that you're working on. They just kind of take up some space in your world, and you can actually use and make a real purpose for them, or you can just have them there for cosmetic or just, you know, for the looks, to fill in a bit of space so you don't have a plain empty world, and just kind of make your world look that much better than just keeping to the normal Minecraft generation. Obviously it doesn't look the greatest, so I'll just show you a few different kind of custom farmlands we got going on here. Obviously some of them could be used for like flower farms, and some are actually real functioning kind of farms that you can use, so it's really up to you where you want to use these and how you want to use them. So I'm going to start off with a really simple one. I've got a custom tree straight in the middle of this little farmland here, and all I've used is podzol, some coarse dirt. Obviously you can use just coarse dirt, pathway blocks, whatever you want to use, and then just go around with some leaves around on the edges here, and then obviously we've got some roses in the center point around this tree, just kind of filling in some space, creating this kind of small flower garden underneath this little tree, taking up quite a large chunk of space, which is always good for when you need to kind of take up a bit of space. And obviously I've just bone milled around it to make it look a bit more overgrown, because obviously we're in a super flat world. Whenever you build something like this, it does look quite plain and boring. So I've just kind of bone milled around it as well, so always feel free to use something like bone mill to kind of fill in a bit of space too. But creating something like this just by placing some bushes randomly, creating a random kind of circle around this tree, which was just a custom tree that I built 2 minutes ago. Didn't take very long. Obviously, you know, you can build whatever tree you want, or you could just have the flowers surrounding this area that the bushes are in it, and maybe you could scrap the tree and actually maybe make it into a giant crop farm, for example, with a path that leads into it. It's really up to you what you want to do with that one. So on to the second one here. You've got a nice little similar one, probably something you'd use early game, to be honest. You start off with some fences on the corners here, so we've got a fence in the corner here, fences over here. This is actually all kind of lined up, so there's a free gap between this fence, and the same for these, and it basically makes a full circle. So you have the fences in diagonals. You can place leaves behind them, on top, and then in this section here, and then on top and behind again, and you can kind of create this small little barrier, but also has an entrance point from, you know, front, back, you know, forward and the side as well. So wherever you want to come from, you can obviously turn this into an actual kind of crossroad if you wanted to. So you could have like a path that comes to here. In the middle you put up a giant kind of sign, and you could lead into like a cross path, crossroad that kind of tells you where you're going. So, you know, north, south, east, west, you can go wherever you want. It kind of leads you to one farm to another. Just a nice little idea you can use there. Or you could just kind of fill it with some flowers, just add some different kind of blocks to the floor, so of course the path blocks, podzol if you wish, and then fill it with some flowers, and just bone mill, you know, get extra grass and leaves down as well, just kind of fill up the space, and you know, it gives you a nice little small kind of area that will be filled, and obviously you can turn it into a crossroad and make it an actual usable feature instead of just a space filler. So on to the third one here. This is probably one of my more favourite ones. It's just a little kind of vineyard design. So obviously you kind of have rows, and underneath there would usually be like some sort of string or wiring here between these fences that kind of just, you know, hold up the plants, for example. So on this one we just got leaves on top, fences underneath, and on each edge, and then obviously we remove them back so you can kind of get this slight kind of turn into the bush instead of being straight, because otherwise it will look really boring. And obviously if you want to raise the terrain, it will look even better. But yeah, then you can put berries underneath it, so you don't actually take any damage from berries either when walking into them. So it's a nice way to kind of keep your world looking good and also hide the berries and stop taking damage. For anyone wondering too, I'm using Germs Better Leaves resource pack, which is the reason why my leaves are looking all very, you know, nice and bushy. This is quite an old resource pack, so I should probably update it at some point. But it still works completely fine with 1.16, so don't worry about that. And then just surrounding the place itself, I've filled it with coarse dirt and pathway blocks too. And then inside each kind of row that you can walk down, I've actually filled it majority with path, and then a few coarse dirts here and there. And that's it really. You could create giant, huge farms or fields of these, and they will look really cool. And they kind of have a small purpose, but you know, they're there purely for the cosmetic look. Now this one as well, this could be used for a tiny early game farm. We've got cobblestone, granite, path block, coarse dirt, and just normal grass, and it leads you into this little circle. So we've got 4 pillars kind of centered away from each other at free distance, and then on the back here we just have fences with grass on leaves on top of those even, and then just round the back we filled the leaves in too. and it gives you this nice little circle area for a farm. You put a water in this hole, composter on top of that, and then you can just create a small little farm inside here if you wish. Feel free to do whatever you want with it. You can use it purely for aesthetic looks like I've done here. So the small amount of plants I've got in, obviously you could fill this whole area with plants or carrots, whatever you want to fill it with, food, and obviously you can use it for actual like a practical purpose and actually have a functional purpose of this farm. But obviously I've gone for the more aesthetic, cosmetic kind of look, for the purely just looking better than what it is obviously intended to be an actual farm. You can make it to just look good instead of actually having a good functional purpose. Obviously you're not going to be able to grow too much from it anyway because it's quite a small size, so maybe it's for cosmetic looks only, or you could actually start off with a small early game farm that looks something like that. Kind of up to you what you want to do with it. Now we head over to our final design here, which is just a simple kind of leaf generation. So you just kind of throw down loads of leaves in a massive pattern. You can make whatever shape you like. I've just kind of gone round in like a giant oval and just spread it out on different sides. So we've got kind of slightly wider edges and things. Added it to like a 2 height and things. Filled in the center point here with coarse dirt, podzol, and then added some bushes just on, or these peony flowers even, just kind of behind and leaving one gap between them. And then obviously you can knock out a few as well, so you've got a few missing here and there. It creates this giant, you can actually have giant fields of these. I believe I saw Whip actually use this on a huge scale, so using it on a much larger scale would look so much better than actually having it in a small size. But obviously once again it's a nice little space filler there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just a really simple one of kind of showing you how you can kind of fill in your world and create some little generate some nice terrain and things, and stop your world looking so plain, and maybe even give you a few farm ideas. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe for more content. I'll see you all soon. Peace.